Hi, I'm listeners and welcome back to Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis, and in this video I'd like to give you a guide for the M3, the Silver Scaled King of the Skies in the Monster Hunter crossover event. So this is the first battle in Ever Crisis where we have two bosses to defeat, one after the other. The first one is normal Rathalos, and after we defeat him, then we fight Silver Rathalos. Both bosses behave exactly the same. Silver Rathalos just hits harder and has more HP. Also, they are both weak to lightning and they also have no suture faces. However, both have a gauge we have to deplete to trigger a data purge, which will leave Rathalos stunned for a short period of time, but after this he'll get a lot more vulnerable to all kinds of damage. We can also deplete his gauge only with magic attacks, so whether it's lightning materia or non-elemental magic damage, it doesn't matter, it just has to be magic. Rathalos will also sometimes poison one of your characters, and it's quite powerful, so I recommend bringing poison Asuna materia. And Rathalos will also do normal physical and magic attacks, but its charged attacks are always magic. He'll also often decrease our magic and physical defense, so something to nullify those debuffs is crucial for this battle. His charge attacks will also lower our fire resistance, but I personally think buffing physical and magic defense is enough. Also, Rathalos will buff its magic attacks, so bringing a weapon to at least nullify that buff is important. And we can also lower both physical and magic defense as well, so we can apply both offensive and defensive debuffs to both Rathaloses. And what's interesting is on Rathalos, on both of them it says fire and poison resistance are very effective, and we don't have any weapons with poison resistance in the game yet, so I expect it might change very soon. Initially I cleared the battle with Matt as a healer and then both Cloud and Zack as physical lightning DPS, and I would just remove that gauge with Thundaras. It's doable, but because we have to deplete that gauge with magic, it just takes a long time to do it. Tifa with her Kirin set is obviously the best choice for this battle because it's lightning magic, so she'll delete that gauge and then she'll still do a lot of lightning damage to the boss if you pulled on a banner. Also, Aerith with Mithril Rod works very well in this battle, and if you have Kamura set, then of course it'll be very nice, especially with Barret, who has Electro Cannon, which does lightning damage and lowers both magic and physical attack, and also Barret could buff physical defense as well. I don't have any of that, so I went with the best available team I have, so Matt for healing and buffs, Sephiroth for magic, DPS and debuffs, and then Cloud or Zack for lightning, physical lightning DPS. With either of them the battle will be exactly the same. Cloud with Glavenus gets a big DPS boost, but Zack with Twinkling Star will make it a lot faster to debuff the boss. It's my personal taste, but I prefer Cloud with Murasame because it's much more consistent. You do Glavenus buff and you have that attack buff until it expires. Then we have Zack who hits hard, but you constantly have to babysit him to keep Zack above 70% HP, otherwise he loses that bonus 20% damage. I think I'll go with this team. And also, yes, I have a few equipment slots empty, and that's because I tried to have Zack and Sephiroth at around 5000 attack, but you should equip whatever you have available that will be best. Matt has Gear Voucher outfit and Gigantic Shield in limit slot, and then I have Centipede for heals and Syringe in secondary slot for magic defense buff. Core Defender is a nice alternative, especially if you have it at OB6, because it will provide high potency buff, but I find Syringe very nice because it has better abilities with HP and buff debuff extension. Then in sub-equipment slots, Matt has Guard Stick to boost his heals, 4-point Shuriken for HP and buff debuff extension, and I have also put Stream Saber for that party buff to boost Zack's DPS a bit. So Matt has also Poison Asuna materia in the heal boost slot and Lightning Breach, and that fires just a stat stick. So Matt has 12,000 HP, 2.8 heal, and both his defenses are at 132. Then I have Sephiroth with Lethal Style outfit, Heliaka racing in his limit slot, Kuja to debuff Rathalos attack, and Protector's Blade for DPS. My CC Alloy Sword is at low OB, so my personal best option is going non-elemental. In sub-equipment slots I have Power Soul for some HP and Sun Umbrella to boost magic attack, and they both boost magic ability potency. Also, Sephiroth has Thundara Materia just in case, and there's Quakera is just a stat stick, so Sephiroth has 12.2 HP, 5000 magic attack, and his defenses are quite low. Lastly, I have Zack with Zinogre outfit, Ramu in limit slot, and Zinogre Blade in main weapon slot, Twinkling Star in secondary slot for debuffs, and in sub-equipment slots I have Mad Minute to boost Zack's HP a bit, so it's easier to keep Zack at above 70% HP than Murasame and Killer Hornet. And also Zack's 2 materials are just stat sticks, so Zack has 12.8 HP, 5.2 physical attack, and his defenses are at 120. So, the first Rathalos will get stunned here in a second, and every time we get stunned, our defenses are being lowered. So, immediately try to nullify this buff and also start debuffing the boss, because he starts with a high potency magic attack buff, so we want to nullify it as soon as possible. But also with Mad, when you get enough HP, buff our own defenses as well, and then you're free to do some DPS. But also I'm not being worried because this Flame Breath, it will not hit as hard because our magic defense is, we have a mid potency buff right now. So we can easily recover from this. But also the way I have it set up, Zack can still do his lightning DPS on a boss, and Sephiroth will just keep depleting this magic gauge. And here again, because the buffs have expired, I'm just trying to lower them again. And yeah, again it's that debuff. But it's very easy to recover from it. But also, sometimes pay attention to your characters, because right now Zack got poisoned, so, and this poison is, it eats your HP quite fast, so you want to cure your character from it as soon as possible. And I think it should be fine on the gauge. Oh, not quite, not yet. But this time. I was hoping I could do it before he would attack, but it's still fine. But here also in this phase you have time to recover because he's stunned, and from this point his defenses are lowered, so it's up to you if you want to take the time to recover, to heal back up to full, or you want to try to push as much damage as you can. But also, because this is not the end of the fight, try to recover, get your defenses back up, even try to save your ADB, because we still have the second boss, the Silver Rathalos. And that's exactly what I meant. I'm pretty fine. My HP is mostly fine, and I had this defensive buff, so I just had to replenish it. And again, it's poison. But here again, you want to nullify the magic attack buff that Silver Rathalos has. It's exactly the same beginning of the battle as with the normal one. Silver Rathalos, it just has a little bit more HP and that's it. But also, whenever you see those normal attacks, those animations, if you're a little bit scared for your HP, you can always switch to defense, just pay attention what he does. Personally, I wouldn't heal as much, but because Zack needs to constantly be at least 70% HP, I always try to just babysit him to make sure he is close to max, just so he doesn't lose this buff. And that's why personally I think Cloud doesn't require as much babysitting, and you don't have to pay attention to keep him at almost full HP for this. So that's why I prefer Cloud. But yeah, he's stunned, so from this point we start doing a lot more damage to him. So this is pretty much where the DPS phase begins, and it will last until you kill him, because he won't lose those debuffs. And here you can set up everything. So you can use your Ramu summon again. But also, because he is not stunned anymore, you want to debuff its magic attack. But I don't, yeah. But after this I can use Ramu. Also Hellfire Breath, it can do a little bit more damage to you because it does quite a lot of these attacks. But if you have magic defense buff, it'll be fine. Just applying those last buffs and then Ramu. And all those other limit breaks just to boost Ramu's attack. And again, just babysitting Zack so he can hit 20% harder. But also pay attention, always pay attention to the magic attack debuff. If you don't see it, use your 4 AoE to debuff it. Also, by the way, that's Poison Esuna in a healing slot. I think it heals for enough, and you don't require a Cura materia. It costs just 3 ADB, and it's still, in that materia slot it heals for a nice amount of HP. So yeah, that's pretty much the whole battle. It's nice. I was quite surprised to see 2 bosses. We didn't have that before, and it's quite interesting, because it's not like you have 2 bosses to fight at the same time. For example, like Elena and Rude. You have 2 bosses like in 2 different waves, so you have to remember you have to go into the second boss somewhat at high HP, or try to be, so you're prepared for the second boss. But yeah, that's a whole battle. I hope you found this video helpful. Good luck on your own clear, and thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you next one.